What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be doing an in-depth video on how you can fix your Hugz the Clown motor if he is not retracting far enough. That was the main problem with mine, so we're going to be taking apart the control box, not the control box, sorry, the gearbox here, and I'm just going to be showing you some things to watch out for and how you can fix it. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to detach this metal pole here. There's going to be a little screw that attaches to, see if I can get in focus, this little hook thing, I guess. There's also going to be four, let's see if I can get in shot here, four screws that you're also going to want to unscrew, and then unplug this colored wire, and then your control box should just come loose and you should be able to pull it out. Alright, so the first things that you're going to need, you're going to want like a little tray, I guess. I have this screwdriver kit. I'm just putting all the screws in here just so I don't lose them and I know where they are. You're also going to want a bigger screwdriver to remove those four screws that I pointed out just a minute ago, and a smaller screwdriver to remove some of the smaller screws in here. You're also going to want, let's see here in my kit, a flathead screwdriver to remove a piece in this control box here. Alright, so now that I have all of that explained and some of the things that you're going to need to take apart your control box here, I am responding to a comment that I got from somebody that had a similar, almost the same problem that I had with my Hugz the Clown, him not wanting to fully retract, him needing a little bit of help. So the first thing that I actually went ahead and did, before I mention these gears, I'm going to point out the box here. So you're going to have a couple different things you're going to want to uncover. So we have this black cover here, a smaller circular cover, and then this kind of oddly shaped one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera just so you guys don't have to watch me unscrew stuff, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got all of the boxes pulled off. The first thing you're actually going to see is you're going to see um, the little pulley system here with the rubber band. So mine, I had to fiddle around with it when I originally was trying to figure everything out. So there's a little bit of scratch marks around there because I didn't know what exactly was wrong. But the first thing you're actually going to want to do is remove that rubber band. That gives you the opportunity to actually pull the motor out, which you're going to need to do. The next thing is you're going to look here on the back. You're also going to have, there's going to be four holes here, and you're going to want to unscrew each of those screws there, and you're almost inside of the box there. So I'm going to quickly do that off camera. I'll be right back with you guys. All right, so we just got all four of the screws screwed out. The last step, I know this might be a lot right now, is you're going to want to grab that flathead screwdriver, and this oval piece right here, it just kind of pushes off. Just like so. There we go. And just kind of remember what way it was facing. So when I put it back on, it will just go like that. You really don't want to mess up this like lever thing here. That's when it tells the motor to stop. So then what you can go ahead and do is, it might be a little easier if you push the smaller wheel here off to the side there. The motor will then come out. Then you can just kind of set it on top there. Everything will just kind of slide out of place just like that. In this part with the motor connected, you can just set that aside. So what we're going to be focusing on here is all of the gears and everything. So I'm going to set this down actually and explain how I kind of fix that. So this little bag of gears actually saved me here. This is a 8-tooth gear, I believe. I have the box here. Let's see. Okay, so there's 20 little gears in here, and yes, they are 8 teeth. If I can find a picture of what the listing looked like on Amazon, I'll try to find them for you, and I'll put it up on the screen here. If I can't, I'm sorry about that. Just look up small 8-tooth gear, and you should be able to find these guys. It took me a couple tries because the hole on the gear itself is almost just as big as the rod that it needs to go on, so it took quite a bit of pressure, but this is what basically is going to solve your problem. So the main thing is this tiny gear likes to split. Now, it's not just on Hugz, it is on basically every single lunging prop. it splits just a little bit, and then it doesn't want to retract the animatronic. So it took me a while to figure that out, and then when I did, I replaced the gear. Obviously, we can. I don't know if you guys can really see that. So that little gear right there is what I had to replace. So that is quite a big piece in there. Just one gear breaking can cause a whole malfunction. Um, so once you get your box open, you can use that flathead screwdriver. Now, I'm not going to take mine out because it was very hard to try to get in, but you're basically just going to want to try to pry this broken one off, or you can just chip it away so then it breaks off, and then when you get the new gears, just it's going to take quite a bit of pressure, I found, to try to shimmy it down where it can connect with all the other gears to move it. So that is going to be the main source of your problem there. It is just that tiny gear that you're going to want to replace. Now, if you get inside of the gearbox and you are not noticing any cracks, I would still recommend you try and take the gear out carefully, and look for any not craps, cracks, and use a flashlight to really try to see, because even a small little like hair crack can really affect the movement of all the gears here. So once you basically fix that gear, you can go ahead and put all of these parts back on, put the gearbox back on Hugz. You basically just undo everything that I just showed you to screw on all the screws, put the rubber band back on, make sure the motor goes back into the right spot, and you should be all set to go. Now, if there's any other questions, feel free to ask. I can 100% answer them. Some of the things I would say you should look out for is if you notice your lunging props, or even just any of your props at all, not wanting to move, or you can hear the motor moving, it's most likely this rubber band here. Over time, these rubber bands, they're just plastic, right? You're gonna want to replace them just because these are the manufacturer ones. My Hugz the Clown is the 2019 model. This is a original rubber band. Um, and actually, I'm going to show you what I use to substitute the Spirit Halloween ones, because you can't just purchase them off Spirit Halloween. So I'm actually going to go grab the rubber bands that I use, and I'll be right back. Alright, so these are what I use to replace my rubber bands. Now, I have quite a few different varieties here. There's some thicker ones here, some thinner ones that are a little bit larger. Um, I really have just about everything. Now, like this one, so these I purchased from Canadian Tire. Obviously, if you don't have a Canadian Tire, you can probably go into Home Depot, really any hardware store in the plumbing section. You can just look up O-rings on Google or anything, and it will show you where you can find some. So that is what these are. These are O-rings. They're meant for plumbing, but work great for animatronics. So these ones are a little bit tougher, but they hold up a lot longer. They withstand a lot more. So these are what I use to replace the rubber bands. Some other things you might want to look out for is the motor itself. Now, when I purchased my Hugz, his motor was actually burnt out. So I actually had to take apart an old piece of an animatronic. It's actually my Mr. Dark animatronic. His mechanism wasn't working, and I purchased a new one, and I used the old one for parts, and that's how I got this motor. Parts are great for replacing for animatronics and stuff. So I originally used hot glue. I just hot glued the wires back together, make sure they're on the right sides. You always have to do tests. There's never not a time where you do test before you glue anything. Make sure it spins the right way. Make sure you're doing everything right. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. But then I got a soldering gun, and I soldered the 2 points on there. So now it is for sure to stay on there. So always make sure that if you are hearing nothing coming from your motor, make sure your points are connected, and make sure that that the motor isn't burnt out. So if the points are connected properly, there's no frays in the wire, then you should go and try to see if you can find an old broken animatronic that either you don't care about or you can purchase for really cheap, and you can replace it with a fully working motor. I find that's what's worked best for me. Um, But that is basically what you should really look out for. You could also make sure like the ends here. So on, I try to get it in focus. Yeah, so that little clip there that clips in to the control box. Sometimes if you play with them too much or they just get pushed in and out too much, they can break. And sometimes that might be the cause for, your animatronic not moving at all. Obviously, in this situation, it was just not wanting to fully retract. And that's where that small gear comes into play. It is just such a small, tiny thing, but it can cause such a big inconvenience. So that is what I should really look out, or not I, but what you guys should really look out for when fixing lunging props specifically, or just any animatronic, making sure the motor's working, making sure there's 2 points of connection, making sure nothing's getting tangled up, making sure that there's no gears broken. There's a lot of things to look out for, and there's so many different videos, but I'm just here to help you guys out and answer any more of your guys' questions if you have anything. But that is all I got for you guys today. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.